Hello, everyone. I'm Ryan Garcia.
I'm Nick Nielsen. What's up?
And today, this is kind of the episode that we've been looking forward to doing. We came off of the Orioles series loss in our last episode, which was, or not the Orioles season. No, it was the Orioles season loss
Yeah, it
last
was
time
right
we were
before we
both
went to
together.
Detroit.
Right. We were saying, hopefully the Yankees can get something going. We want the offense to look better. And I think it's fair to say everything we've asked for the most part, has come around.
Oh yeah, no questions about it. Like this team is firing in all cylinders. It's like it sucks because as you know, Ryan, and for all of our listeners out there, sorry we haven't been around as much. I've been swamped with finals for school. It's my senior year at college, so we're grinding it out. And I haven't been able to watch a ton of the Yankees games, which sucks. But everything's looking good. Like I was looking at the recaps, I watched some of the highlights and everything, and I made sure to catch up on how the last 6 or 7 games have gone. And dude, it's nuts. Like I know that there's 9 in a row, 10 in a row, we're chasing history. But even if there wasn't a win streak, and let's say they went 6-3 in their last 9 games, and they kind of put out the same production that they did, I would be fine with it. Like it's the fact that they're putting up a lot of runs, they're hitting with runners in scoring position now. They're not swinging at garbage pitches nearly as much. And I know you and I had both talked about that, like especially with Donaldson, like his chase percentage was terrible. And now he's got that down back to kind of around what we expect from him. And he leads the team in walks. So it's like he's turned a corner. I don't know, man. Just a lot of good things to say about the team over the past week and a half ish. Especially the win streak, over the 9-game win streak, they have looked like the best team in baseball, no questions asked, on both sides of the
Yeah,
ball.
100%. And, a couple of big things to talk about with this team. I think we were hitting on this a lot earlier where it's like, the Yankees hit the ball hard. The Yankees hit the ball hard. The Yankees hit the ball hard. At some point, it has to turn it around. And it turned itself around, right? They are first in exit velocity. They are first in barrel rate. They are the second best team in baseball in terms of WRC plus.
Yeah, isn't it like a team wide like 123 or something for this
Yes,
season?
it's
That's insane.
ridiculous.
Like that is insane because MLB average is 100. If you've got over 100, you're considered an above average baseball player. At least that's what I believe that they said for the WRC plus scale. Like that's how I've always used it. Is like 95 to 105 means you're pretty average, a little bit above average. And for the team to have a 123 is nuts. Like granted, you got Rizzo and Judge that are definitely boosting that up a bit because they've been mashing the baseball. But everyone on the team that started slow is coming around now. IKF, your boy, he's starting to hit. He leads the team in the average, doesn't he? Doesn't he have the best average on the team right now with like a 308 batting average or something?
I
I don't know.
think Judge might be ahead. I'm not sure because Judge, I think, has hit for average pretty decently.
Yeah.
But
And IKF also, those yips, they've been kind of minimized. The first couple games we were talking about it where it's like, looks like he just needs to like settle down. Like he's just kind of like too nervous and he's reacting too quickly and is going through his head. And now it's like he looks like he's been playing shortstop for a decade.
yeah, and one big thing that IKF does, and I feel like this is such a huge, huge difference from this year's team and last year's team. Bottom of the lineup, you can get hits. Last year, when it wasn't Judge, when it wasn't Stanton, and before COVID, kind of towards the end of the season, the last couple series, Rizzo, you weren't getting any offense, right? I think a couple of guys, I know Hicks has struggled with runs in position, but I think having him in the lineup stabilized the lower part of the lineup when he hits there, right? Like he's able to get on base, and you have IKF who can do some things. LeMahieu hitting well has been a renaissance for the Yankees. Stanton, I know, got into a slump between between that Red Sox series and Detroit, I believe. I know he started picking up as of late. He's looked a lot better.
Yeah,
Donaldson, right? Like Donaldson has walked 22% of the time since he hit that home run in that first Baltimore series up until now. 22% walk rate, 18% strikeout rate, clobbering the ball. Like the plate discipline, he looks like what we
wanted from him. Like. This is what we wanted from him. We wanted this veteran plate presence that, like, I will say, it seems like Donaldson kind of is still struggling to find his power stroke with his swing, which is why he's taking so many pitches. And it's honestly kind of awesome to see because it's like he's 36. So I will say maybe it was a bit lofty for me at the beginning of the season to be like Donaldson could hit 40 bombs, but he can because of his swing, his approach, how quick he moves his hands, and how much torque he gets into the bat. Like, there's no doubt he could do it. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that he's he's adjusted to his early season struggles and has now made it so he's got a WRC plus of 117 on the season. And in the last 9 games, it's like 196. I think he walked in the last 9 games 9 times, 10 times. Like he's doing what Matt Holliday did with the Yankees for a bit there. Remember that 4-walk game against the Orioles? Like this is what Matt Holliday did for the Yankees, and that's what we wanted from Matt Holliday all season. And then that trip to the West Coast and Matt Holliday just died. No idea what happened to him.
It was a sickness, I believe, right?
Yeah, it was something. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He just and then he did not play well at all for the rest of the year. But Donaldson, if he does what like first half Matt Holliday did as that veteran presence, where he has great at bats, he's a leader in the clubhouse, and he puts together a good 800, 820 OPS season, like low end. That's all you can ask for out of him. Like maybe I was a bit too ambitious with my predictions for Donaldson, but I still do believe that when he gets going, he's going to hit a 10 or 12 game stretch where he hits 7 or 8 home runs. Like when he gets going, he's very hard to get out. And that's why seeing him work walks and work really lengthy at bats is exactly what we want to see, because that means he's just about to turn that corner before those pitches that he sees that are kind of inside the zone that he wants to swing at, he will start swinging at those. So I don't know. I'm loving the results from it though, because again, we talked about it like 2 weeks ago, 10 days ago in the last episode. He's one of the guys that we both expect to start rolling around here, and now he has. So that's nice to see.
Yeah, and touch on this. Donaldson went up until that game against where he got that home run. Mm-hmm. He has barreled up 6 baseballs since then for a 20% barrel rate. He had not had a single barrel coming into that point.
Yeah.
So, that's a great sign. And secondly, he has 3 defensive runs saved and a 4.6 UZR per 150 at third base.
And that's right? What I'm saying. Like, people were saying Gio is so much better than he is defensively. And I know you weren't, but Donaldson's, I mean, it depends on some certain metrics. Yes, Gio is a little bit better at some things. But you gotta remember, you're comparing 28-year-old Giovanni Urshela to 36-year-old Josh Donaldson with a bung calf. So it's like they're not 100% comparable, in my opinion. Now we're looking at a healthy Donaldson who's getting rest days essentially every day from third base. Because I think John Boy talked about this a little bit ago. It doesn't seem like they want to keep using him back-to-back days at third. So we see a lot of third base, DH, third base, off day, third base, DH, third base, But in the time he's played at third, he's been one of the better defensive players on the entire team. Granted, he had that one error that was not a good play on his part. But if you look at the other plays, like he makes a lot of difficult plays look routine.
Right. And, as he keeps progressing offensively, as he keeps hitting the ball hard, working walks, the WRC plus will climb. He'll start, like the seat numbers as a whole will look way better.
Yeah.
Right. And that's an encouraging thing to see, right? You see it with guys like IKF, guys like even Glaber's looked better as of late, where it just
looked a lot better.
Yeah, it just feels like the Yankees are a well-rounded lineup. They feel
Agreed.
like a deeper lineup. Like there is that, outside of the catching position, and I want to touch on this too. The Yankees have been the second best framing team in baseball, according to Fangraphs.
Yeah, defensively, I mean, it speaks for itself. Like Higgy and Trevino have literally cost teams runs because of their framing.
Right. And, yes, I think Higgy is definitely better than a 13 WRC plus hitter, right? Like, I think, I think that the expectation has to be that you have to be better than that, right?
Yeah, a lot of averages would suggest you can't possibly be that bad.
Now, is it possible? Maybe, but I would hope it's not. Like, I think it's kind of like, I hope you're not the worst hitter to ever play baseball, right? Which Higgy really doesn't have I'm not saying he's going to go out and hit, put up a 150 WRC plus or anything, but 70, 80, right? Like,
just do something where you're not literally swinging a noodle.
Yeah.
A pool noodle up there. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
He always pops up, and it's like he works counts too, and then he pops up. So it was nice to see. I think it was a couple games ago when Boone yelled at him after Judge, he hit a 3-run home run. Like Boone yelled at him and said, "Hey, good job," because he worked the walk that extended the inning. Like, I feel like earlier in the season, granted we're still very early, Higgy would have just swung at that pitch and not worked a walk, and the inning would have been over. So it's like at least he's trying to get something going, and he's taking pitches, which is good. Higgy isn't the most, isn't. I'm trying to put this in
he isn't disappointing.
not. Yeah, yeah. He's not like Donaldson or Judge where it's going to be full counts galore, or it's going to be you have to pitch your best shit to me to get me out. So it was nice to see him do that. So there are little like positives with Higgy, and again, his defense is top 5 in baseball. And then pairing that with Trevino, who's also a top 5, top 7 defensive catcher in baseball, you have yourself the best defensive backstop in baseball. So that clearly matters, and that's clearly played dividends in how the Yankees are playing. And it's also really paid off because there's been a couple of games where it's like, yeah, over the past 4 or 5, we've had those laughers where the Yankees have scored like 40 runs in the last 4 games or something, which is crazy. But before that, it was still the pitching has to get the job done a lot of the time. We have late inning close games, and we're struggling to put away bad teams. So it's like, it was good to see the defense holding up, and our catching defense has been a huge cornerstone of that with Rizzo as well. Like without Rizzo and the catchers, I think we probably have dropped 4 or 5 more games than we have.
Yeah, and the Yankees, in terms of Fangraphs WAR, right, they're right around the middle of the pack in catching WAR, but have a team 31 WRC plus at catcher. So that tells you if they can get to a 60, they will probably be fine.
Anything that's not absolute dog water.
Yeah, if they're not pitchers, basically offensively, though. And I know this sounds trivial.
Bumgarner than them.
Right, I know this sounds trivial. I know this sounds stupid on the surface, but at the same time, I mean, if the Yankees somehow figure out a way to get a 31 WRC plus from their catching position,
I'll be shocked.
I'm not like you can be the biggest Iggy hater in the world, the biggest Trevino hater in the world, which I don't understand. I could not like Trevino. Trevino's a very lovable person.
Trevino's a great guy, awesome dude.
Yeah, you could be their biggest detractors. There's really no world in which 2 hitters sustain a 31 WRC.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's real bad. I mean,
yeah.
We also have Ben Rortvedt coming back. He's finally taking like live drills and batting cages now. So maybe we see something happen with Higgy or Trevino when Rortvedt comes back. And that would be interesting to see him in action. But at the same time, they may just want to use him in AAA because he is only 24. And he doesn't have a lot of quality at bats and experience at the major league level. But he's literally just the lefty Higgy in the sense that he's an exceptional defensive catcher that provides pop against opposite-handed pitching. So it's like, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what the Yankees decide to do with that going forward. I mean, the roster's already just shrunk as well, so we saw a couple of guys have to go down. My guy, Ron Marinaccio. Oh. Then, of course, in his first start on vacation, he strikes out 5 in 2 innings. Like, he has the stuff. It clearly was, in my opinion, the reason he struggled a lot at the end was that, 1, he didn't pitch for like 14 days. And then 2, it's like I don't know how to put it. It's just, it always seems odd to me when you watch some pitchers pitch and you can clearly see that their stuff is very good, like, and dominant, but hitters are poised and more patient than you want them to be, if that makes sense. Like, when I watch Marinaccio pitch, I'm like, how the hell could anyone hit that? And then the next pitch, it's a barreled up double, and then a walk, and then a single. And I'm like, how? And then you watch him pitch in AAA, and it's like he just struck out 5 guys in a row. So I do think that there's a bit of unluckiness for Ron in the way that he was used and deployed and the schedule he was on. And I think he'll be back, and he should make a big splash. But I was sad to see him go. And Clark Schmidty, man.
Yeah, I think, honestly, and this could be foolish, but, I do think that in the long run, right, we're going to see Marinaccio just sharpen it. Like, really, it's just a command issue, right? He's not, he doesn't, not even just like he walks a lot of guys, right? Walks are going to be a problem for young pitchers sometimes.
But he doesn't have that put away pitch.
Right. It feels like he has like nasty stuff, like sick, disgusting, whirly slider, video game fastball and changeup, right? Like, it's disgusting, filthy. Gross.
Got the Italian attitude.
Yeah. But it's location in the zone, right? Because nasty is nasty, but if you can't, if it's in a very barrel, it's a meatball. If you can barrel it pretty easily,
I mean, we watched a lot of his sliders hang for the last 2 starts he made before he got optioned down. He missed a lot of his sliders, and they were just sitting there, and then they were barreled up. And then he'd have a hitter in a 1-2 count, and he'd throw like a fastball outside for a ball. Then he'd throw a fastball outside for a ball, and they'd be like, well, now it's 3-2, Ron. And it's like that's what I meant when I said like he doesn't have that put away pitch. Like he doesn't have that kind of like Sevy now is just abusing that changeup as his put away pitch. And when he locates that, it's one of the most disgusting pitches he has. So it's like every good pitcher has been able to make the adjustment to add to their arsenal, and to kind of build on what they have. I mean, and it's only a matter of time for Ron. Like he's got the stuff, super young.
Good strikeout rates, gets ground balls. I believe in him.
Absolutely.
But roster shortened, wasn't performing. Can't really send down. You're not going to send down anyone else.
You can't justify anyone else over him.
Yeah. I lost Schmidt. Tough loss for me. Tough loss for the narratives. But, ultimately, the numbers freeze. Yeah, the numbers freeze. And then if you look at the XFIP, the Sierra, the ERA was stellar. The quality of contact.
No, he pitched really well when he played.
Yeah, my narratives live on, man. And,
I love it. Who doesn't love a little Ryan Garcia ESM narrative?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I live for.
But, I think another thing that, the Yankees pitching staff, and I want to hit on the rotation a little bit, realistically, right, I think the biggest, if there is a flaw, it's just they are not necessarily the most polished. They're not going into games, 6-7 innings the way you want them to. No. Severino is struggling a little bit with his command in the zone. Like yesterday, he didn't go to his cutter as much, which was a little concerning. Fastball command wasn't the sharpest, hung a couple sliders, still fought through and got 5 innings, which is great to see. Really the guy who's shown the sharpest in zone command has been Nestor. Probably,
yeah, but that's because he's the people's ace. We knew this,
right?
Nasty Nestor, it's not even a joke at this point anymore.
Yeah,
like, there are like legitimate like statistical backings to Nasty Nestor can win the Cy Young. Like I don't think people understand that this guy is going to be one of the most consistent and quality pitchers we have, and that's the big thing is the consistent part. Like even though Garrett's really turned it around in his last 2 or 3 starts, especially, it's not like Nestor. And this sounds so messed up for me to say now because Garrett Cole is elite, and I truly believe that. And I don't think we should worry about his early season struggles, and all those idiots that say Spider Tack Merchant. It's such a dumb narrative. Such a dumb narrative because his stats after Spider Tack were literally just as good. So it was very interesting. But Nasty Nestor, when he goes on the mound, I feel very comfortable and confident knowing he's going to go at least 5 innings. And I can't say that about any other Yankee pitcher just yet. And Nasty Nestor, when he goes up there, it's not like he's going to be pitching around people either. He attacks every batter. And you and I both hate when you pitch around the bottom of the order guys and walk people in the bottom of the order. Happened a lot against Baltimore, happened a shit ton against Detroit. And then, of course, I felt like we walked like Bobby Dalbec or Jackie Bradley Jr. or someone like that every game when we faced Boston at the beginning of the season. So it's like with Nestor, though, he has incredible pitch command and he likes to use his pitches as he feels fit to where it's like you watch him throw 2 or 3 cutters and they're perfectly located dotted pitches. And it's like, well, that was the easiest out I've ever seen. And I think that says a lot about Nestor. And like he's worked his ass off to get here, and everyone loves Nestor. Nestor's the man. He's an athlete. Underneath that body, he's an athlete.
I love that quote, and I feel like I just love what Nestor Cortez kind of resembles for the Yankee staff. Like he is just such a I think like if I'm Matt Blake, I look at Nestor Cortez and say that is my proudest right there. Yeah. That is a guy who was like I think it was like picked with what pick? I think the 30-something round.
Yeah, he was one of the last picks.
Right, tossed around from Oregon. The Yankees picked him up on a minor league deal.
Yeah.
Starts in AAA last year, gets garbage time innings in the bullpen, deals, gets a start, starts dealing, picks it up,
into the rotation,
and is now I get it. It's April. No, it's not even. It's May. It's May, right? We are 1 month into the season.
Look at last season and this season. That's my thing. Like it's becoming to the point where it's getting to a large enough sample size to where you look at it and be like, okay, this isn't small sample size fan fiction. This is like a legitimate thing that we can look at and say, this is sustainable. This is who he is as a pitcher. And he hasn't had any moments at all over the past 2 years where he comes in and just explodes implodes or has 3 or 4 rough starts back to back to back to back. Like, that's what I love about Nestor is that he's just continuing on about his business. Like he just doesn't care. Like there is no, I'm going to go talk to the media. I'm going to talk shit. I'm going to let everyone know I'm the man. I'm going to get all like angry and pissy, or I'm gonna tell people I think I'm the shit. Like, no, it's just I'm gonna do my job. I'm gonna pitch and try to get my team into the best position for the win, and I'm gonna put every single ounce of blood, sweat, and tears I have into this job. Like when he dove on that play at first, I had tears in my eyes.
It was great. And on top of this, I mean, Nestor, you hit it. It's like he goes out there and it's just a joy to watch. And I think that's like, Nestor hasn't even. It's not even like Nestor's like last year. Nestor was right. Like it was like can Nestor sustain being pretty good? Now can Nestor sustain being arguably the best
really
pitcher in the
good,
American League? Like that's ridiculous.
And I also love that that's the narrative now. Like that's what the narrative should be. I don't want it to be, oh, is Nestor's like, because before the season, there were a lot of people that were like, should Nestor be in the rotation? Because we have a lot of arms. And he was one of the guys that was kind of being tossed around a little bit between that long relief spot start kind of Mike King role we have now and where he's at now. And now it's to the point where it's like, can Nestor be the Yankees ace? Like, we went from a guy that, like you said, last year was he may have been an NRI when he initially signed with the Yankees. I don't even know. And then worked his way up. Like you said, got the garbage time innings at first, proved that he's good, worked his ass off, and now he's, in my opinion, the Yankees' best starting pitcher.
Right. And, there are other guys in the rotation that have made, like Severino, you mentioned with the changeup. He's also developed a pretty good cutter.
That cutter.
Tyone, he has a better changeup now, and he's throwing a cutter too. Like he knows how to deal with left-handed hitters.
He gets lost in the sauce a bit because of how good everyone else has been. But Tyone, honestly, like even though last start I believe he only went 4 innings, he got a little bit shelled a little bit, but he hasn't been bad at all. So like seeing what we get out of him is kind of what I was expecting from this part of the season. Like going into spring training, we talked about it. He wasn't really even expected to be playing for a little bit. And then he just rehabbed super quickly. And now he's pitching basically 70, 80 pitches a start. So it's like he's kind of on that track where I'm like, this is already more than I was expecting to get out of Tyone.
Yeah, and in his career, lefties have slashed 262, 328, 417. So they've been they've been a roughly league average hitter against him. Yeah. So that means that lefties have done decently against Tyone, even in his best years. His career FIP 4.22, and last year 5.21 FIP versus lefties. His strikeout to walk rate was 11.8% last year versus lefties. This year, 21.9% strikeout to walk rate, 3.43 FIP, slashing 172. Yeah, like they're not hitting again. Lefties used to kill Tyone last year because when you look
good. Sorry, that's good. He's like
right.
Completely. He's like learned to pitch to him, and that changeup, I guess, is I don't know. He has more command of his pitches now. He has a better feel for all his pitches. I feel,
and he has
last year,
pitch.
He struggled with his fastball even last year, and now it's like I feel like he's throwing it confidently, even if it is 93, 94. He's throwing it confidently and locating it better than he did last year. So like I'm no gripes to Tyone. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he has 6 pitches.
That's like crazy. Imagine having to go up there as a hitter and prepare for not 1, not 2, not 3, but 6 pitches.
Right. It's there is an intangible level of deception, and I would compare this to Chris Bassett in a sense where Chris Bassett is not going to blow you away with velocity, nor is he going to blow you away with movement or a wide delivery. Or some crazy, like there's nothing necessarily absurd about Tyone or Bassett on a profile basis. But what they do is they command very well, and they are very deceptive because they have so many pitches to work with. Absolutely. And that's been a revelation.
Revolution too. We'll take the revolution. Yeah. How I'm fine by me. I'll take a revolution of people learning to pitch 6 pitches.
We'll see Monty tonight. Monty has another guy who's kind of just been a rock, right?
Like run support from Monty. Yeah. That dude gets nothing. He gets like it's like if you went to like a steakhouse, and for all the other Yankees pitchers, they get a porterhouse for 2 or a bone-in ribeye, and then for Monty, it's like you can have a side of carrots. So it's like we need the offense to do something for Monty because Monty always does something for the team. And even last start, like I believe Monty went 5 innings, couple earned last start,
2/3. Yeah.
And honestly, the only reason he gave up the runs is because Boone left him in for a bit too long. So I'm not mad about Monty's start. And when he left, the Yankees once again, I believe, were losing that game. So it's like, well, the offense when Monty pitches, I feel like just goes turtle mode. So I want to see them not go turtle mode, and I want to see them score 10 more runs again. Score 10
Right.
runs to win the 10th straight. How about that? 10ception.
So, yeah, like honestly, Monty he's going out tonight, I believe, against Manoah. If I'm not mistaken, it could be I don't know if it's Manoah. I think Manoah is Tuesday. I gotta check.
I think Manoah is tomorrow against Tyon.
Yeah, so I will triple check. It is Ross Stripling tonight, who has pitched decently. Like,
but we should be able to see Stripling.
And I feel like this is kind of like I don't know how to explain it other than like a vibe check for the Yankees, where it's like, last year they would go on a roll, or they would, look like the offense is clicking, then face a pitcher they should beat in theory.
And go 6 shutout innings.
Right. So, I'm not saying Stripling's bad. Stripling's gotten a lot. He's changed. He's gotten ground balls.
But he's like a Tanner Houck, where it's like he goes 4 innings. He's going to get you 4 innings.
Yeah, he is a beatable starting pitcher.
Yes, and the Yankees, for as much as they see pitches, should be able to get Stripling out of there after 4 innings max.
Right. Stripling has do not want to walk. I do not want to be saying Stripling's bad. The Yankees should go and drop 7 on him. We should not go 6 or 7 scoreless off of you.
No.
Right.
If that happens, it's going to be a rough night of baseball if that's what happens.
Yeah. That Blue Jays bullpen is not nearly as bad as it was last year.
No, Romano's very good. I also love Simber. I think Simber's delivery makes him one of the more difficult guys to face in the entire league, kind of like Cishek.
Yeah, but with that being said about Toronto's bullpen, and again, big believer in Toronto's bullpen isn't necessarily like
shutout or lights out. Sorry.
Yeah, it's not like the best bullpen on planet Earth. And on top of this, there are guys you can get to. Julian Merriweather has given up, has had a little bit of a struggle in terms of his ability to hold, in terms of the ability to limit hard contact against him.
Yeah, that injury really, barrel rate. I don't mean to be rude, but I think that injury really, really fucked up Julian Merriweather going forward. Because the dude, remember last year, he was like pumping like a hundo easy in the first series. And I was like, who the hell is this guy? And then he got injured and he's come back and he has not looked the same.
Right. Doesn't have it's a matter of in-zone command.
Yeah, it just doesn't have the control. There's like no real pitch confidence now.
Yeah, and there's a chance he figures it out. Like, again,
sure,
a lot of pitchers.
Early.
But since he's still figuring it out, got to get to him. Yimi Garcia hasn't struck out a lot of guys, has a 4.32 ERA, rough finish to his year last year.
Yeah.
Right? A guy who you'd like to get. So you really want to avoid Romano. Not Thornton. Thornton has a solid ERA, but his peripherals aren't great. Yeah, really, it's Simber, Romano, and Meza and Phelps as well. Phelps pitched pretty
Phelps
well.
has been surprisingly really good for them. I don't know how they managed to find the diamond in the rough with David Phelps at this point in his career, but they did. It's just like what the Cubs are doing with our boy Houdini. David Robertson's looking like an elite closer over there, and I'm like, dude. These guys are all back. Tommy Kahnle's pitching well for the Dodgers. All these former Yankee bullpen arms, man, making me tear up.
I don't know if you remember this, but Phelps was actually pitched last year. He just got hurt 10 in the third inning and had a sub-1 ERA.
He was good. He was good. Yeah. And that's why when the Blue Jays signed him, I was like, okay. But he's 36, isn't he? And he's had a lot of injuries the last couple of years.
35, excuse me.
But he's had a lot of injuries. So it's like, I don't know how much more mileage that arm could take. And then you're watching him pitch this year and you're like, what the hell is this?
Yeah. And ultimately it's a matter of, can the Yankees just kind of try to get to force Toronto to put someone in that doesn't have their best stuff as of right now? And I think that's how Toronto views the Yankees bullpen in a sense, in terms of let's not be forced to face Michael King for the last 2 innings of a baseball game.
Let's instead try to get Litke out there.
Yeah, and even Litke, I know he's had
no, I'm saying I like Litke, but that's kind of what they're thinking. Because if you want to be honest, like Litke, in my opinion, right now is probably our worst bullpen arm. Like I think Randy's better than him, King's better than him. Of course, you got everyone's boy, Aroldis. Aroldis has surprisingly been. I hate it because every time we watch him pitch, it's like sitting on nails. But then he gets out of it, and you're like, and breathe. And then you look at his stats, and you're like, what the? I feel like when I watch you play, it's always chaos, and then your stats say you're a top 5 reliever in baseball.
Dude, I'm not even joking. Like, I was flabbergasted when I saw that he had not given up an earned run nor blown a save. I was like, I specific like
in
what I will
11
say,
innings too. Like, he's pitched a good amount at this point, and it's like, how have you not given up a run? Like, I thought for sure you've given up a run by now. I think one of them may have been the walked run that just didn't count because it wasn't his inherited runner. So that's kind of what we remembered. But since that moment, Aroldis has looked pretty good. He looks like his usual sporadic self, but he also is throwing like 94 sometimes for no reason. And then he throws 101 on the same at bat. And it's like, are you just choosing when to throw hard, like to try to locate better? And if so, that's fine, because your biggest issue is literally that you can't locate. But if he can, develop consistency and not walk a batter in an inning like he's kind of doing, he's just going to be the same dominant Aroldis that has been there for his entire career. Like, he just has the bad moments that really, really shit on his overall career with the Yankees. Like, if you look at it as a whole, he's been an elite reliever with the Yankees, but his bad moments are just so damn bad. And in such pivotal moments, too. It's like, you can't be giving up walk-off home runs. You can't be giving up, like, walk-off walks. You can't just load the bases then and be forced to make Boone pull you and put in some guy that just warmed up. Like, those things are the things that people cannot forgive Aroldis Chapman for. But as a whole, he just got his 150th save with the Yankees. Like, the dude's one of like 4 relievers to have 150 saves in the AL and NL. And I think that's insane. So, I don't know. I just a little bit of a Aroldis love there. Like, I mean, I guess that's my point is, like, the Blue Jays, if they have to face Aroldis Chapman, then they're going to be losing the game in the 9th inning. That's the only reason they'll face him. But with Mike King, 8th, 7th inning, and that's what. So this season has been such an anomaly for Mike King, and I love it because it's like every pitch he has, and you could kind of back me up on this if you agree. I feel like every pitch he has, he now throws with an exuberant amount of confidence.
Absolutely. He is throwing 96-mile-per-hour four-seamers and sinkers and dicing dudes up, throwing wicked changeups, and throwing maybe the nicest, like just the most aesthetically pleasing curveball out of any reliever in this Yankees staff.
That slurve is
disgusting. Thank you, Corey Kluber. I know he's actually pitching decently with Tampa right now.
Yeah, he's no Shane McClanahan, though.
No, Shane's bananas.
I'm a big Shane McClanahan stan for all the viewers out there. I think he's the best pitcher in the AL, not named Nestor Cortez or Garrett Cole. In the AL East, sorry.
He's been unreal.
He's on one. Yeah, he's on one. I think he had his like 3rd consecutive game of at least 9+ strikeouts last start. And he gives up runs because he gives up a home run. Like, in every one of his starts this season, the only runs he's given up have come off of home runs. It's pretty crazy.
He's ridiculous, dude.
His stuff is like 70. His command is like 65, and his overall is like 70 for the pitching grades. He's got
gives up ground balls. Like, I know he gives up barrels, but he keeps the ball on the ground a lot, so he doesn't.
Yeah, I think he's one of the few pitchers in baseball with over a 30% strikeout rate and over I forget what the ground ball percentage is, but
50,
over a
6?
Something like that, 50 or 60%. And while that may not be sustainable, especially for the type of pitcher he is, where he does pitch to strike you out, so he does give up the home run every now and then in hard contact. But McClanahan's the real deal. That dude, I'm way more scared of him than I am Alek Manoah. And I don't care if Blue Jays fans are listening to this. Like, McClanahan, and he's a lefty, which I know we have a lot of really good righty bats on our team. But watching McClanahan pitch and the way he commands the strike zone and attacks hitters is one of the most dominant pitchers in baseball. Like, he's got that kind of, he doesn't have the same Kershaw little leg strut, but he's got that very long leg kick in his windup and delivery that adds that, what was it? You love it. The perceived velocity that makes it look like it's coming in even harder than it is because he's so long and he throws 99 already. Like, I don't know. I love Shane McClanahan. Shane McClanahan is my man. He and Jesus Lizard, Jesus Luzardo, those two, I've been big fans of them ever since they were like rookies and kind of climbing the prospect system. So to see both of them pitching well is very, very satisfying. I just wish McClanahan wasn't for the Rays, dude. Like, ugh.
Yeah.
Can you just give us, why couldn't we have done a trade with the Rays that gave us McClanahan like we did with the Red Sox where we gave them Whitlock? Why couldn't they have just given us McClanahan one day and just been like, yeah, we need to DFA him because we need to get rid of this guy's salary? Because if we could you imagine we had Whitlock too? Oh, Whitlock in our pen would be naughty. Our team, it's already very good. But the bullpen, because if Whitlock was in the bullpen, but then we'd still have Ottavino, and that would be a whole ordeal.
I don't even want to think about Adam Ottavino.
That dude. And he talked shit on the Yankees when he left, to the Mets.
He's a life ruiner.
I'm like, what happened?
He's a life ruiner.
I know. I'm like, what? I thought you liked being in New York, Adam.
He does. He ruined my life. I do not like him. He ruined my life. but overall, right? It's just been a whole lot of good. That's good, right?
It's been fun.
Good
I wish I could watch the games and I wasn't so enveloped in my school right now when the Yankees are playing the most fun baseball they may play all season. But keep it rolling. This big series against the Blue Jays, all the boys are vaxxed. Huh?
Yeah.
How those, dude, I love how
everyone.
this is my favorite part of the season so far, real quickly. How every controversial headline that all the Yankees haters were just leeching on toward and sucking the blood out of have completely been disproven now. The New York mandate got lifted, and then all the Yankees are vaccinated anyways for road games. So there goes those two narratives that the Yankees are going to have to let Judge walk if he's not vaccinated. And then you had the Yankees letter that was basically okay, so the Yankees did what everyone did, but guess what? Houston did what they did for 3 years, not for one. And that was awesome. So everything that they tried to shit on the Yankees recently has just been going their way. It's awesome. This is great.
Before we wrap things up, I just want to point out one thing. IKF haters, what happened? Where are you? Where are the people? Where Kiner-Falefa haters? What happened? Seriously, I'm confused. I believed in this man.
You did.
But he had a negative 10 WRC.
You had the IKF hard hit ball thing going day one. He signed. I've never seen him hit a hard hit ball, so that's a crazy make. And here we are.
That is quite literally the best. That Kiner-Falefa being good at baseball is
crazy.
It's going to feed my kids one day.
You take away the first 3 series of the season, and Kiner-Falefa has been our best hitter, other than Judge, in terms of pure average.
Yeah.
The first 3 series, IKF had, I believe, 1 hit, and then now he's batting 310, 308 on the team on the year. The dude's doing exactly what we wanted out of him, and he's playing good defense. We talked about it a little bit at the beginning. IKF is finally kind of showing Yankees fans hey, maybe I am here to stay. Maybe I'm not just some guy we brought over so we could give Volpe more time. And he's honestly been struggling a little bit in the minors.
He's picked it up though. He's got a 112 WRC plus now.
Past couple games, he's really picked it up. He had that one, I think, 3-for-3 game that really lifted his spirits. So I don't know. I just with IKF, I'm happy to see him doing well because he's your boy, especially. IKF and Donaldson are both hitting well, so thank you, Minnesota. That's cool. Yep. And then you look at what Gary's doing, and it's eugh. And then you look at what Gio's doing, and it's
He has a 90 WRC plus. So
fair enough.
Donaldson haters, what happened?
That's the thing.
He was better. What we heard was that Josh Donaldson was bad for the New York Yankees, and Gio Urshela, who is also slow, who also is a similar defender,
and who also is injury prone.
Yes.
Can we not act like the last 2 years he played less games than Donaldson? And then this year, Donaldson has literally given me no reason at all to think he looks tired, sore, out of shape,
slow,
or he's slow. Even watching him bust that single out of the box, I think it was yesterday or the day before, where he beat it out to the first and he yelled to himself, I don't know, I want to know what he yelled. I hope he yelled something there we fucking go, or I had to beat that out. He's playing with this edge and this charisma that we knew he had, and people were immediately completely wiping away from the transaction. Again, if Donaldson even came in and bats 250 on the season with a 320, 330 OBP and a 470 slugging, 800 OPS player, the presence and role that he will have on the clubhouse and on the other players is worth that deal alone. Look at how good some of the players have been playing and how everyone looks like they're on the same page and they love being in the same clubhouse together. I haven't seen this Yankees team having this much fun in 2 years, 3 years. This is 2017 vibes. Todd Frazier, thumbs down. This is fun.
I have not seen this team hit. And here's the thing. Last year when they played well, it was because they got lucky and would win like
Yes.
2-run games. Like they would win a
Or
ridiculous amount of
or
one-run
Judge
games.
and Stanton would just carry.
Right. And they would have to win the most absurd, like they won so many games that were just stressful, made you think that they were going to lose, one-run games. They never looked dominant at any point over a large sample size last year. This year, they've already impressed me more than last year's team did, and they've done so in 1 month. Yep. And I'm going to just say this now. You said Donaldson 250, 330, 470, right?
Yeah, that's literally the low end for me, 800. That's like the worst.
Yeah, Donaldson hits 250. Donaldson is going to have a 130 WRC+.
Exactly.
Because
he's
probably
going to have bats.
Yeah, he has a 345 on base range with a 2-way average. If he gets to 250,
I think he's also slugging less than he's on base percentage, or maybe he's slightly slugging
361.
More. Yeah,
a little bit
barely. But Donaldson's walking like 20% of the time, and while I don't think he's going to do that all season, as we talked about a little bit at the beginning of this episode, if he has kind of turned into I'm going to take a lot more pitches and just wait for my pitch rather than try to chase something and hope I get lucky, then that's fine. Like that's at age 36, you can still be able to make that type of evolution. Just shows how good of a hitter you are. Like, I think he just was also one of the players that in April passed 10 years of service time in the majors. So congratulations to Josh Donaldson, the bringer of rain, my MVP for the Yankees this season. So hopefully he continues to do what he's doing. Like, I don't know, dude. This is just, I wish I haven't been so busy so we could do more like episodes and get out more content, because it's just been a lot of fun. Like the team's just playing really well.
Just want to clarify for viewers, if you don't even want, if you want to listen to podcasts and like, where can I get more fireside? Like I'm just like, I know the people, and we are the people. We are the people's co-host, of course.
We are,
right? I know the people are just dying for more Fireside Yankees content. We got highlights coming out every single day. Yes. You want a snippet of some Yankee content just to taste a little bit of some Fireside Yankees? We got highlights coming out every single day.
Yeah, the page does nothing but produce dubs left and right. All the platforms. It's pretty crazy.
We are in school. You know, Alex is on the grind with Fireside Giants as well. Shout out to Fireside Giants.
Fireside Giants.
If you're a Giants fan, check them out.
Big bros, baby.
Yes, but even though we got a lot of things going on, the Fireside Yankees lab is never closed. It is a 24/7. The lab is never finished, and the Yankees are in the lab right now. Matt Blake is auto-generating some random pitcher who you've never heard of, who's going to come up in a year or two and post a 30% strikeout rate. Dude, like Hayden Wesneski's.
Yeah, I was about to say your boy, he's been killing it to start.
Ken Waldichuk, sub-2 ERA.
Both of your guys.
50% ground ball rate, baby.
Let it be known for everyone that listens here, the three guys that Ryan Garcia ESM was very high on when we did our spring training preview episode were the following names. Clark Schmidt. Well, actually, I think it was four guys for you. It was Clark Schmidt, Ron Marinaccio, Waldichuk, and then Wisniewski. And now, all four of those guys, in my opinion, are probably the four most like decorated in terms of their stuff that the Yankees have in their disposal right now in the minor leagues. Like maybe you could toss in Heel and Medina, but Heel has been really struggling to start this season. But I think the Yankees are, like you said, they have a really good problem now where they've got an embarrassment of riches. There are literally 7 guys in the bullpen that I feel very comfortable with watching pitch. And I don't think I can say that about any other team.
And another thing, I know Medina's struggling with his command a little bit, but Medina, also in the lab, 3.48 ERA so far at Double-A in his stints starting from last year. The lab never ends. When he finds his command, man, like, oh my God, when he just learns how, not even just perfect, just learn how to just throw fastballs in the vicinity of the strike zone.
That's the thing. Because he throws 100. Just throw it in the strike zone, dude.
He
could be unhittable.
Yeah. And I'm just excited. Dude, this team just needs to keep doing whatever the hell they figured out, how to hit the ball, barrel the ball, the Dylan Law Chad lab, man.
I think it's just Nestor. I think it's Nestor's masculine presence and aura that just like exudes off of him and people seep it in. Like you saw the footage of them all at Judge's birthday party. Like everyone was having an absolute blast. Donaldson was like up there like getting lit with everyone. Yeah, he was like trying to like fuck around with the candles. It's like JD, like if I hadn't known better, and if I wasn't a devout Yankees fan, I would have thought you'd been with the team for a decade. Like everyone's fitting in, everyone knows their role, no one's trying to do too much, and everyone's playing quality baseball. Like we have a mixture of small ball and trying to swing for the fences. We are now starting to right our wrongs in RISP woes. And we also have the most home runs in baseball, but we also have the most runs in baseball, or the second most runs in baseball. So it's like, while I expected the home runs to be there, I was not expecting us to be able to manufacture runs at the rate that we've been doing the past week or so. And if we can maintain that, this team is the best team in baseball. And I firmly believe that. And I stand by my prediction that the Yankees win the World Series. So, like,
let's go Yankees, baby.
Let's go Yankees. Also, shout out Byron Buxton. If he watches this, keep doing your shit, dude. You're winning me fantasy baseball games, and you're making me look good in front of Ryan because I said he's going to be the MVP. This is great.
And, dude, I'm not even joking. I clicked, and we're going to wrap things up, obviously, because the Yankees game's going to start, and we got to get into the Yankee game lab.
Yes, sir.
Dude, I clicked onto the White Sox Twins game, and the first thing I see, Liam Hendricks comes to the set from the stretch, kicks, deals, and Buxton just hits.
Was that off the slider? That was low?
No, it was off a fastball, dude. Dude, Hendricks has a wicked fastball, right?
Yeah, he's got wicked stuff. Yeah, he struggled this year,
though. Threw a just absolute dart of a fastball, left in the zone. Buxton killed that pitch. It wasn't like you've seen the home runs where it's like center field. He's at the track. He's at the wall.
No, it was a no-doubter. It was like over the batter's eye.
It is. The ball was hit, and I was like, holy.
Wait, was that the hardest walk-off home run? Yeah, that was the longest walk-off home run in the StatCast era. That's what it was like 465. Like, when he's healthy, it is one of the best things for baseball, because Byron Buxton is a 9-WAR player when he's healthy. Like, I posted a while ago that Grady Sizemore, in my opinion, this could be a wild take, but that Grady Sizemore, had he not gotten injured, could have been as good as Mike Trout. And I stand by that opinion. When he played, Grady Sizemore had 3 or 4 seasons in a row of at least 6-WAR baseball. That is what Byron Buxton is. He is Grady Sizemore reincarnate. And if he stays healthy, the dude will be one of the best players in baseball for the next decade. And he's on a very team-friendly deal for the Twins. So that's all it is. Just stay healthy. And if he stays healthy, he's going to win MVP. Probably a whole bunch of them.
Craziest thing, dude, Buxton is just like I remember I was telling myself, I remember Yankee fans were like, should we, if he's available, are we sure we want to trade for him? And I'm like, dude, I don't care what his injury issues are. This guy's going to be a 4-win player if he just plays 70 games.
That's what I'm saying. Look,
not care.
His value is crazy. Like, what was that stat where the Twins record with him and without him? I think they're like under 500 by a dozen games without him, and then they're like 45 over with him. Like, he is, and when you say MVP, you need them. It means most valuable player. What does the player bring to the team? What is that team without that player? The Twins without Byron Buxton this year are a 75-win team, 74-win team. With Byron Buxton, I think they're an 85-win team. Like,
typically you want a player to be around one WAR, $7 million. So in order for Buxton to be worth the $14.3 million AAV, he'd have to get to 2 WAR. He's at 1.2 WAR. And he has played 14 games. That's what I'm saying. He's almost lived up to his what?
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's got, what was it? You said 1.2?
1.2 in 14 games. He has almost lived up to his contract for this year, and he has not played more than 13 games. That's ridiculous.
It's nuts.
Literally just got to he literally could play half of the month of May, then go off the face of the earth, and come back for October, and he is worth his contract.
That is nuts.
Just how good he is at baseball.
That's how you know you're a generational player. Like when people say Acuna and Tatis and those guys, I know that Buxton isn't in that same young group of players now, but Byron Buxton is in that same group of players quality-wise. Like, dude, people have been sleeping on Bucks. He's barreled for it all this year, dude. He's going to be the 50-50 player this year. Buxton is pissed off. You can just tell how he's playing. He hits everything as hard as he possibly can now. And on the 2, I think he's had 2 walk-offs this year already. Like, he just pimps the shit out of the bat. Not like Josh Donaldson's pimp job. But
those are beautiful.
Those were. I got goosebumps.
Doesn't walk. Byron Buxton doesn't walk. He
doesn't need to walk. He just hits home runs every
20% of the time, and then he has 26 home runs this last 75 games.
1 out of 5. 1 out of 5 like batted balls in play is barreled up.
If
The
you
dude just
take
has elite hand-eye coordination. And I will say, a couple years ago, if the Yankees had wanted to trade for Buxton, I would have been like, absolutely the fuck not. Because the dude was standing straight up, swinging at everything, and only making contact on pitches down the middle of the plate. And now you look at his adjustments he's made since he's made it to the big leagues a couple years ago, and the player he is now, and it's like just bravo, Byron Buxton.
he's
You are a
just a
9 WAR
phenomenal guy.
player if you play the whole season. And I think people
And
are going to start to realize that. Like, this isn't like Ketel Marte, where it's like one really, really breakout season. Like, this is what everyone knows Byron Buxton can do. And he's finally doing it because he's healthy. Like, I hope Ketel Marte, fixes it this season. No slander there. I love Ketel. But
same
Buxton
thing.
is like, what I'm trying to say is Buxton, in my opinion, is a top 5 player in baseball, top 7 player in baseball.
Yeah, he's ridiculous. And I think that Yankees look great. Baseball's
Awesome.
looking great. And I think, we look into the month of May and hope that they keep things up against Baltimore, the Blue Jays, who DJ LeMay is in the box right now and is going to get ready to start the series off. So with that being said, we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Absolute
Adios.
pleasure.